Casinos in Atlantic City are apparently drowning in financial problems, but that is not stopping developers from pushing forward plans to build casinos in New York. In fact, the governor, he's betting quite a bit on it. Got behind it, got it passed here in that referendum, and now this week developers are making their pitches, presenting their plans before a state panel. In fact, tomorrow in Albany, they continue. Now, Jan Jones Blackhurst, who's an executive vice president at Caesars Entertainment, she says to us earlier today why she believes casino construction in Orange County is in fact a very good bet. There's presentations going on right now, but your group and others tomorrow are going to be making a pitch in Albany, right, to make the argument that your bids make the most amount of sense for New York, right?
Absolutely. We have 45 minutes to present to the commission and then 15 minutes where the commissioners can ask questions, although they've all had all of the submission documents for weeks.
Well, Andrew and I probably asked some of the same questions that the commission is going to ask tomorrow, but most notably in our region we have Atlantic City. And as you guys know full well what's happened this month there and last month, including one of your own properties who shuttered its doors. Why, given what we see in Atlantic City and what we've seen in a lot of other markets with oversaturation of casinos, are casinos a good bet in New York? You know,
I understand Atlantic City eminently well because I've watched it for decades. What happened in Atlantic City is they let a beautiful destination devolve into a convenience gaming market. Instead of really preserving the beauty of the location, the seaside, the boardwalk, the big integrated resorts, they thought it was just easier to let people come up daily on a bus. So when more product came around Atlantic City in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and other northeastern states, Aqueduct, that really hurt their market because a convenience gambler now only had to go an hour. They didn't need to drive 2.5. I think that Atlantic City will correct itself. I think it's a question of right-sizing the market, refocusing on a destination market, and what does that mean to New York, particularly in Orange and in Sullivan? What we're proposing are destination resorts. They're not convenience resorts. They're destinations that draw people into upstate New York, that really encourage them to go into the upstate, visit New York, which ties into a lot of the campaign that the state and the governor has been doing, and that with the right kind of product, you're going to be able to attract a visitor that comes not just from New York, but actually not only around the country, but around the world.
Jen, you mentioned the destination resort business model as being a selling point for your proposal in Orange County. Couldn't you make the argument that it's also part of the problem with the industry, especially outside of Las Vegas, that the large destination resorts in places like Atlantic City or even some of the Connecticut properties, they're so expensive to build and maintain that it makes the profit threshold that much higher to stay in business?
Well, I think you have to look, first of all, New York did a brilliant job of crafting this legislation. The tax rate is fair, even with the taxes both at the state level and at the town and village levels. So you're incented to invest money. We're looking to build just short of a $900 million project. And then you have the opportunity, as you watch it grow, you can expand, you can reinvest. We actually have 115 acres that we're building our project on. And we really believe that this project will bring people here. Not as a convenience, but as a destination that then allows us. We've also signed, we call it the Gateway Project, where we've signed memorandums of understanding with local vendors, with a lot of the local economic development agencies to actually, when people come to our resort, there'll be an upstate New York concierge that not only books the time that they'll spend with us, but really allows us to take them on tours into upstate, and they'll stay longer and enjoy more than just a day, hopefully 2 to 3 days.
You know, I can tell you it's been a better part of a decade where I've heard promises from various lawmakers about bringing gaming casinos, especially to the Catskills, where those basic properties that have been sitting just gathering moss here, that was going to revitalize the area. I understand the logic, and you guys are a for-profit business. You got to go where you're going to get the best return on investment, so it makes sense going to Orange. But there will be a hue and cry if the Catskills and Upper Hudson Valley, let alone even the northern parts of this state, don't get a casino that are arguably in worse economic shape than Orange County. What's the answer to that? Because Orange and certainly the Woodbury area doesn't need it as much as places up in, the northern part of the state.
The balance here is you want it really to be successful. You want this to work for the state. And if you look at the legislation, it's what's best for all of the people of New York. So I think that you can still have a destination in Sullivan and a destination in Woodbury, which is going to generate overall the most revenues, the most jobs, and even a property in Orange, we're going to hire from Sullivan, we're going to hire from Ulster. You're not going to be able to meet the demand for 3,000 jobs just in that area alone. So I think that you drive a lot of that economic benefit into that area, irrespective of whether both the projects are up.
And again, those pitches happening tomorrow in Albany. You can catch more of my interview with Jan Blackhurst online. All you got to do is go to YouTube and search Richard French Live. All right, we come back here. Big story today. Many of you may have seen the video. If you haven't, we'll show it to you. The NFL taking swift action, overdue action, many people say, against Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice here following the release of a new video showing what happened inside of that elevator before we saw him drag off his then fiancee out of it. We'll show you the video and we'll talk at the table here whether the NFL got it right today. Stay with us.